Ya.
Oke. Oke, Banyu, kita mulai, Mas Banyu.
Siap.
Ya.
Mulai aja ya.
Oke. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ya. Mr. Sam, you can turn on your camera. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all a very good morning and welcome again to the class of Regional Law and Comparative Law organized by the Faculty of Law Universitas Indonesia. As the moderator for our class today, firstly, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Nofrizal Bahar. I am a member of teaching team of this class, and currently I'm also the chairman of ASEAN Legal Studies of Joko Sutono Research Center, the Faculty of Law Universitas Indonesia, that also involves in the preparation of this event. Today, we will have another special class again, as we have two very competent guest lecturers to share their knowledge about regional law. And today's topic is the introduction to the legal system of ASEAN and its ASEAN communities as a format of regional integration of states within the territory of Southeast Asia. Hereby, we would like to extend a warm welcome and pay our gratitude and a very high appreciation to the kind participation of our special guest lecturers. First, Mr. Un Sovanasam, the Director of Legal Services and Agreements Directorate of the ASEAN Secretariat. Good morning, Mr. Sovanasam.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, we are very honored to have you today. And our second speaker will be one of best international friends of our faculty, Dr. Chan Viet Zoom. He just called me that he will be late for about 5 minutes. Yeah, he is the Dean of International Law Faculty of the Ho Chi Minh Law University, Vietnam. Yeah. Honorable Mr. Sovanasam, and Mr. Chan Viet Zoom, if you're already here. For your information, the class of Regional Law and Comparative Law is actually a new subject offered by the Faculty of Law Universitas Indonesia, not only for the students of our faculty, but also for all law students in all over Indonesia, from Aceh to Papua. And for a webinar session like today, the class is also open for public participation. This class is created by our current Dean, Dr. Edmond Makarim, and our former Dean, Professor Dr. Topo Santoso. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, before starting our class, our beloved Dean of the Faculty of Law Universitas Indonesia would also like to welcome our honorable guest lecturers. Dr. Edmond Makarim, you are kindly requested to deliver your welcoming address as well as to open our today's class.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Our distinguished lecturers, the Honorable Un Sovanasam, Director of Legal Services and Agreements Directorate, the ASEAN Secretariat. Associate Professor Tran Phet Dung, PhD, Dean from Ho Chi Minh University. Our fellow lecturers of Regional and Comparative Law, and all the participants of this webinar. First of all, I thank the speakers for attending this webinar. This webinar is a part of a course called Regional and Comparative Law, or Hukum Kawasan dan Perbandingan Hukum in Bahasa, which is the first time this course is offered at the Faculty of Law Universitas Indonesia. With our new curriculum, we want our students to thinking not only limited by the boundary of laws of Indonesia, but instead think outside of the national boundary itself. We think that learning other countries' legal systems and other legal family is essential for the legal development in Indonesia. COVID-19 pandemic had disturbed us in the physical lecture, but it does not hinder us from having exceptional guest lecture for every week. On the contrary, with the distance learning with online meeting technology, It provides us with new opportunities. In this course, we got our participants not only from students of our faculty, but also the students from all of the other law faculties from many universities in Indonesia. They could participate in this course. Last week, our colleague, Professor Veronica Taylor from Australian National University, gave her lecture on Australian law, and the participants were keen and interested in her lecture. And they got much new knowledge about the legal system in Australia. Today, I also hope that all of the participants could obtain new knowledge and insight, as well as to be engaged in active discussion. Without further delay for the event, I hereby open the webinar and wish this webinar could bring us a fruitful outcome. Thank you very much. And I give floor back to Mr. Nofrizal.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, Dean Makarim. And Mas Banyu, can we take a picture together first?
Ya, untuk Bapak-Bapak dan Ibu para partisipan mohon untuk mengaktifkan kameranya karena kami akan mendokumentasikan kehadiran Bapak Ibu semua. Oke. Baik. Saya mulai dengan halaman pertama dari 3. 1. 2. Ya, sudah. Baik, Pak Nofrizal.
Oke.
Oke, terima kasih banyak Mas Banyu. Terima kasih banyak Pak.
Can I have your permission? I would like to leave early because I have another meeting. Okay?
Oke, Pak. Kasih Pak Dekan.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Un Supanasam.
All right, honorable teachers, before starting our class, please firstly allow me to make an announcement for the students. Dear students and distinguished participants, as usual, today's class will be held in 100 minutes and will be divided into 2 sessions. Every guest lecturer will do his presentation in 20 minutes and continue with questions and answers session in 30 minutes. The first speaker, Mr. Un Sobanasam, he asked me to call him as a Pak Sam, the Director of Legal Services and Agreements Directorate of the ASEAN Secretariat, will explain about the legal framework and institutional structure of ASEAN. And since Pak Sam have had another appointment, will have another appointment at 12 after his session, we will directly continue with question and answers so he can leave the class by 12 o'clock. And afterwards, our second lecturer, Dr. Chan Viet Dung, the Dean of International Law Faculty of the Ho Chi Minh Law University, Vietnam, will speak about the ASEAN Economic Community and then serve you all with questions and answers as well. For those who do not actively speak English, questions may be delivered in Indonesian language. So do not hesitate to raise any question. As the moderator, I will try to translate them. And distinguished ladies and gentlemen, before our first speaker starts his lecture, I will read his brief biography first. Okay, Mr. Un Sobanasam, born on 8 February 1973 in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, completed his primary, secondary, and high school. Completed his primary, secondary school, and high school in his home country. He obtained his Bachelor of Law and Masters of Laws, specializing in international law in 1996 and 1997, respectively, from the Kiev Taras Shevchenko University, the Republic of Ukraine. In 1997, he joined the Legal and Consular Affairs Department at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation of Cambodia. In 1999, he was promoted to head the Legal and Treaty Bureau, where he carried out various legal-related assignments, including provision of legal examination and opinions on international agreements and treaties. He also served as international law expert in Cambodia, Joint Border Committee to negotiate border treaty or agreement with neighboring countries. In late 2003, he joined the ASEAN Secretariat as the Senior External Relations Officer under the Bureau of External Relations and Coordination. The Bureau's main tasks were, among others, to promote cooperation and partnership with dialogue partners, international and regional organizations, and external parties. However, his strong educational background and experience in legal matters, Mr. Un was also entrusted with additional portfolio of overseeing law and legal matters in ASEAN. At the same time, he also supported the desk officers of the ASEAN Secretariat in the process of negotiation and conclusion of different agreements, MOUs, exchange of notes or letters between ASEAN and dialogue partners and external parties. In 2009, following the entry into force of the ASEAN Charter and the ASEAN Secretariat-wide restructuring exercise, Mr. Un was reassigned on the basis of his strength and experience in legal matters to the post of Senior Officer of the newly established Legal Services and Agreement Division, or LSAD. He went on to assume the post of the head of LSAD in 2013 and the Director of the Legal Services and Agreement Directorate in 2016. He has been instrumental in the establishment, development, and expansion of LSAD to deal with tasks and challenges on legal-related matters, to support ASEAN integration and community building agenda. Over the past years, he has been actively involved in developing and concluding many key legal instruments in various ASEAN community pillars and the ASEAN Secretariat. Mr. Somanasam is married with 3 children. And now, Mr. Un Somanasam, or Pak Sam, for the next 20 minutes, you are cordially requested to deliver your presentation.
Thank you very much, Pak Rizal. And good morning, Dr. Edmund Makarim, Dean of Faculty of Law, University of Indonesia. Professor Tran Viet Dung, Dean of Faculty of International Law, Ho Chi Minh City, University of Law, Vietnam. Distinguished participants. First of all, on behalf of the Secretary General of ASEAN, I would like to thank the University of Indonesia, in particular the Faculty of Law, the organizer of this important event, for inviting the Secretariat to participate in very, very useful events, which is on the introduction to the legal system of ASEAN and the 3 community pillar. In speaking on these broad topics, I have a few pages of slide presentations, and I shall also let you know that I could not claim to be an expert of the legal system of individual ASEAN member states. Therefore, my presentation here rather seek to cover the legal system of ASEAN as an international organization only. In doing so, I will focus on the following 4 key attributions, which is essential to the work and operation as well as the legal system of ASEAN. If I may request the participant to move on to the next page, please. Yes, the 4 key attribution to the work of ASEAN, to the legal system of ASEAN is, number 1, we look into the constituent instrument of ASEAN, which is a very important document to establish ASEAN. Number two, we look into institutional structure or ASEAN organ or body that support the integration process and to fulfill to perform the goal and objective of ASEAN. Number three, we look into treaty, or we can call it law-making process and the implementations. And number four, we're looking into the decision-making and dispute settlement process as well. So please allow me to go into the detail of each and every key attribution to the work of ASEAN or to the legal system of ASEAN. Number one, we're looking into the constituent instrument of ASEAN. You are well aware, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, which is known as in short as ASEAN, was born in 1967 when the 5 foreign ministers met and signed the Bangkok Declaration. It is obvious that ASEAN did not start with the complex legal instrument and system. The Bangkok Declaration is short and simple. You may wish to get the document for further reference, but allow me to highlight some key elements of it in our today event context and in the context of the international organizations. One is that the Bangkok Declarations set out a very simple key objective and purpose of ASEAN, which is to accelerate economic growth and social progress. I just highlight a few, but on the detail, I think the participant can obtain from the website the detail of the Bangkok Declarations on the purpose objective of the Bangkok Declaration, which is constituent instrument of ASEAN. Then the key also to promote regional peace and stability, which is important for the economic growth and progress. Number three is to promote active collaboration and mutual assistance among the ASEAN member states, and to maintain close and beneficial cooperation with outsiders. So I think these are the key objectives that I would like to highlight for the participants as well. And in order for the organization to perform that objective and to achieve that objective, ASEAN, based on the Bangkok Declaration, created a very simple institutional structures, which is only the Foreign Minister of ASEAN meeting, ASEAN Standing Committee, and the ad hoc committee and the National Secretariat, which exists in each member state. So if one want to look into the Bangkok Declarations, it must be noted that the Bangkok Declaration is not a legally binding document. It is a political statement. Then, as a consequence, ASEAN was not organized as an inter-organization per se with its own legal status. ASEAN was an association without a formal legal status. But over the years, since its establishment, ASEAN has evolved and become one of the most successful organizations. It expanded to include 10 nations in Southeast Asia, and throughout the evolutions, certain norms and practices have been developed along the way. And this norm and practice has become known to many observers, scholars as ASEAN Way. And if I can highlight to you a number of important ASEAN Way or the norm and principle that we established along the way for many years, is that the number one is a consensus decision-making process. Number two is the spirit of cooperation and collaboration in ASEAN. And number three is about non-confrontational in ASEAN. So basically, these are a few among those ASEAN ways that many observers and scholars have characterized ASEAN as an organization. Another important point that I would like to also highlight to you since the establishment of ASEAN is that unlike other international organizations, neither the Bangkok Declarations nor any other subsequent legal instrument has empowered an ASEAN organ to make a legally binding decisions. So if ASEAN member states want to commit to a legally binding obligation or commitment, this has to be done through a conclusion of agreement or treaty among the member states. So then the process of conclusion of agreement and treaty will have to start to negotiate among the member states. So these are the picture before we have and move on to the next slide on the ASEAN charters. It took ASEAN a long way from the Bangkok Declaration, which is non-legally binding, to the ASEAN Charter, the legally binding Constituent Treaty of ASEAN. The ASEAN Charter was signed by the ASEAN leader in 2007 and entered into force in 2008. Basically, ASEAN Charter is a legally binding instrument. It is a treaty among ASEAN member states. It creates legal right and obligation to the member state. And with this charter, ASEAN is provided with legal personality distinct from ASEAN member state. So if we are talking about the legal personality, we have to look into both under domestic law and international law. So under the charter, ASEAN have a legal personality in both domestic laws and international law. So that there are separate documents to regulate these provisions. And in the charter also have articulated very clear on the purpose and principle of ASEAN. The charter also provide necessary institutional mechanism and organ to implement the ASEAN community building and integration process. The charter also provides the legal framework for ASEAN in the process in the integration process as well. Another key important point is that the charter also elaborate on decision-making process and dispute settlement mechanism in ASEAN. So through the charter, ASEAN has been provided with its own identity and symbol. We have our own flag, we have our own emblem, and we have our own anthem. I think the key important also that I would like to highlight to you on the ASEAN Charter is that the language of ASEAN. I think this is the most, so to speak, that many organizations are in years with ASEAN that we are able to have one language, which is English is a working language of ASEAN. If any one of you look into the EU, how many language and how many expenses they have to spend on translations. Luckily or fortunately, we have only English that we don't have to spend much on the translation of any of the document of ASEAN. So these are the general information or knowledge on the constituent instrument of ASEAN. Basically, we coming from loosely organization from a non-legally binding sort of document to establish ASEAN to a very, very legally binding in the form of treaty to establish ASEAN, which is the ASEAN Charters. So, and the key for us now is to look into how ASEAN perform in based on the constituent treaty, based on their constitutions, which is we have to look into the institutional structure, organ, and body of ASEAN. We look into the framework, legal framework of ASEAN, and we look into the decision-making and dispute settlement in ASEAN. So please allow me to go to each and every of these in detail. Number one, as you have seen in the slide presentations, I have tried to draw a simple diagram purporting to illustrate the structure of ASEAN organs. It may appear simple, but I shall not mislead you. In reality, it is challenging, especially on cross-cutting issue and coordination among all those sectoral ministerial bodies of ASEAN. this is an area where we recognize the need to improve and strengthen. I have also placed the Secretary General of ASEAN and the Secretariat vertically here on the side of the other ASEAN organs. This is just to show our involvement and services to all those ASEAN organ and body, from ASEAN Summit to expert meeting. It's not an indication of the reporting system or hierarchy in these mechanisms. So if you look into this diagram, you will see that we have ASEAN Summit. ASEAN Summit is the highest body of ASEAN that make a final decision on every ASEAN issues. Then is supported by ASEAN coordinating councils. Then we also have ASEAN Community Council, which have 3 pillars. You may know that ASEAN community comprising of 3 pillars, which ASEAN Political Security Community, ASEAN Economic Community, and ASEAN Social Cultural Community. So under this ASEAN Community Council, we have 3 councils as well. We have APAC Council, we have AAC Council, and we have ASCC Council. So under each of these councils, they have its own relevance ASEAN sectoral minister bodies. For example, just roughly calculated under the APAC, we have around 7 ASEAN sectoral ministerial bodies. Under AAC, we have around 14 ASEAN sectoral ministerial bodies. And under ASCC, we have around 19 ASEAN sectoral ministerial bodies. At the same time, we also, this is based on, after the charter, we also established this Committee of Permanent Representative to ASEAN. So each ASEAN member state will appoint their ambassador to ASEAN, which which is based in Jakarta, and work closely with ASEAN Secretariat and coordinate all ASEAN cooperation program and activity. Then we have other ASEAN sectoral body as well. So all of these ASEAN organs will perform their work and duties based on their respective mandate and TOR or rule of procedures, which is adopted by respective council and respective sectoral bodies. So once you look into these various mechanisms, various organs, you can come to the next stage, how these ASEAN organs and body make decisions, both non-legally binding and legally binding document that support or facilitate the integration process. So as the slide is shown now, I try also to elaborate on the process and on the number of various legal instruments in ASEAN. Number one, we have to note that, as I indicated earlier, that the decision is made. I classify in different categories. One is non-legally binding, and another one is legally binding. The legally binding one is the one that we are going to address, and the non-legally binding, like statement, declaration, communiques, or decisions, is a separate issue, which I think is not it's not under the legal purview. We will set aside, but the process of negotiation maybe we can touch upon a bit. So if you look into the ASEAN community, we have ASEAN, we have APAC, AEC, and AACCs. As of now, in total, as of September 2020, we have around 144 ASEAN legal instruments. So those under APAC, we have 33. Under AEC, we have around 200 plus. And ACC, we are 9 or 10 legal instruments. So how the treaty organization is concluded. Number one, it is important to note that each ASEAN sectoral body have the authority to initiate any agreement. So each ASEAN sectoral body may initiate an ASEAN instrument on area under its respective purview. So, for example, recently under the ASEAN law minister for use, recently ASEAN law minister meeting have agreed that ASEAN should work on an ASEAN extradition treaty. So then their senior officer have to follow up. A drafting group and ad hoc working group may be established to work on the treaty or agreement as initiated by the sectoral bodies. So if there is a case where a drafting group or ad hoc working group is, then each member state has to appoint its representative to the drafting group or the ad hoc group to work on the draft. But in some cases, a particular sectoral body, for example, in the case of the ASEAN Convention on Counter-Terrorism, just an example, that the leader have tasked the three senior officer meeting to work together. You have ASEAN Senior Law Officer meeting, ASEAN Senior Officer meeting, which under the Foreign Affairs Act, and you have SOMTC, which is Senior Officer meeting on transnational crime, to work together to work on counter-terrorism. There's no need to have a new drafting group. So once the text is concluded, each member state will have to nominate its authorized representative to sign the instrument. So the following the conclusion, each member state will also follow their procedure to complete domestic legal process for the entry into force of the agreement. So all this from the signing, from the nomination to the signing, to make the agreement into a legal system of the member state, have to follow the internal process of each member state. Once the instrument is in force, each member state shall fulfill their obligation under the instrument, and the Secretariat will monitor the implementation of the agreements. But when all the agreements have been signed or implemented, the ASEAN also established institutional dispute settlement process if there is dispute among member states on those legal instruments. So then we can turn on to the next page to look into the decision making and the dispute settlement process. The ASEAN Charter, as I said earlier, have provided very clear provision on decision-making process, basically to codify the ASEAN's practice, which is based on consensus, but it allows the summit to decide how specific decision can be made if there is no consensus, if the consensus cannot be reached among the member states. So these are the simple decision-making process in ASEAN. Unfortunately, we have not experienced the case where the leader or ASEAN summit have to decide on any specific decision when there's no consensus. Every decision has to be made on consensus, and we follow the principle throughout. So when there is agreements, of course, we must also have a dispute settlement process. So under the ASEAN Charter, we have provided 3 distinguished dispute settlement process. Number 1 is 1976 Treaty of Amity and Cooperation in Southeast Asia. The TAC is a key legal instrument to govern the interstate relation within ASEAN. And now we have not only ASEAN to be bound by the treaty, we have 30 non-ASEAN member states have acceded to the treaties. And during the recent summit in Vietnam, Cuba, South Africa, and Colombia has also acceded to the TAC. So we have now 33 non-ASEAN states, which is bound to the principle and the dispute settlement process in the TACs. Basically, this, if you can obtain the document from the website, from ASEAN website, then you will see the TAC set out the principle of interstate relations and on the peaceful settlement of the dispute if it happened between the member states. Then we have a 2004 protocol on enhanced dispute settlement mechanisms. This protocol, in short, is a protocol to settle the economic agreement among ASEAN member states. Fortunately, from 2004 until now, the mechanism under this protocol has not been invoked. We have just now amended this protocol or replaced the new protocol, which has been signed by the member states. Just a very brief on this. This protocol is basically more or less similar to the dispute settlement understanding of the WTO, which you have a consultation, you have a panel, and you have appellate bodies. And the Secretariat will play an important role in supporting the dispute among the member states. Then we have a 2002 protocol to the ASEAN Chapter on dispute settlement mechanisms. Under this protocol, if I can summarize in short, is for the dispute of non-economic agreement, because the economic agreement is already under the 2004 protocol, but it is a non-economic agreement, then we have to use the 2012 protocol to the ASEAN Chapter on dispute settlement mechanisms. So let me go into the challenge a bit on the process, on the implementation and working on ASEAN legal instruments. The challenge, as you may know, many areas of cooperation are cross-cutting issue in nature. So during the conclusion and implementation, cooperation and coordination among various sectoral bodies on this cross-cutting issue are very challenging. So I think in both at the national level and at the regional level also. So the Secretariat have to coordinate with various sectoral bodies to support ASEAN in working to conclude the agreement as well as to implement the agreement. In some cases, although the umbrella legal instrument is in force, but its key supplementary instrument have yet to be concluded or enter into force. So if, for example, if anyone aware of ASEAN agreement on good in transit, so it takes, although the umbrella framework agreement has been signed, but the protocol has been take a long time for ASEAN to come up with a protocol to implement this framework agreement on good in transit. So in some cases, although agreement is already in force, but a few member states have not ratified yet, so it has not become a legal document or has not transposed this agreement into the domestic law of the member state yet. And some ASEAN member states require time to internalize or operationalize the legal instrument. In many cases, development of pilot project rule and procedure to operate provision agreement become an issue as well. And in other cases where the socialization of various plans or actions resulting from the implementation of agreement is also require a lot of time and require a lot of resource to support the member state as well. So all in all, although agreement is concluded and the challenge is still there in terms of the implementation. So the Secretariat have a mechanism to monitor the implementation and to find out if there are any support that the Secretariat can solicit from dialogue partner to support the member state in implementation of those agreements. I think I would end my presentation here, and I would take up any questions. I wish I can answer all the questions. And I thank you, Pak Rizal. I give the floor back to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Sam, for your very clear presentation. Now we will accept some questions from the participants and students. Siapa yang mau bertanya, saya persilahkan, mungkin 3 orang dulu. Bisa diajukan langsung karena tidak ada yang menulis di ruang chat. Langsung saja buka mikrofon dan sebutkan nama dan asal institusi. Any question? Not yet. Actually, we have 99 participants here. I can see from the Zoom. Okay. If there is no any question yet, I have to tell to all the participants that Pak Sam will have to leave at 12 o'clock. So it's better to raise questions now. Otherwise, he cannot answer up to 12 o'clock. Ya, siapa yang mau bertanya silahkan sekarang karena jam 12 Pak Sam harus meninggalkan pertemuan kita ini. Ada? Kalau tidak ada, okay, Anugrah Adiastuti, ya, can you open your microphone? Ya, unmute your microphone. Okay. Anugrah Adiastuti, tolong sebut
thank you
nama dan nama dan asal institusi. Silakan.
Okay. Okay. Good morning.
Morning.
Can you hear my voice?
Yeah, very clear.
Hello. Yeah.
Yes,
good morning. Oh, very clear. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. My name is Anugrah Adiastuti. I'm from Faculty of Law, Universitas 11 Maret. And I have a questions for this first speaker. In previous presentations, you mentioned that there are 2 types of agreement or international conventions in Asians, which is qualified as non-legally binding and legally binding. And in your previous slide show in your presentations, you mentioned that in legally binding agreements, one of them are categorized, one of them are MOUs. So my question is, in what legal basis that you qualify that this type of MOUs is part of legally binding agreement compared to the other type of or definitions or terminologies in international conventions? There is my question. So what legal basis or in what legal reasonings that MOUs can be categorized or can be qualified as legally binding agreement? Thank you very much for this opportunity. Good morning.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Anugrah Adiastuti. Pak Sam, you can directly answer the question, I think, since she's the only one who has the question now.
Can I answer now?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay. First of all, I just would like to thank the participant for the very, I think, relevant question, which is still, even among the member states, even in ASEAN, we still debating a lot on the legally binding and non-binding instruments. I just would like also to highlight that in different countries, there are different system in recognizing of the title of the instruments. We should not confuse on the nomenclature or the title of the instrument. The nature of the legal instrument doesn't depend on the title of instruments. You can call it treaty, you can call it agreement, you can call it protocol, we call it MOUs, but depend very much on the intentions of the party and the intention of of the language that the party indicated in the MOUs. For example, I think we can understand in some country, the MOU is classified as a non-legally binding, but in some country, it doesn't matter whether you call it MOU or you call it agreement or you call it protocol, or sometimes you can call it some other the instrument like exchange of note or exchange of letters, but it depends very much on the context and depends very much on the language you indicated. That is why in many cases in ASEAN, especially within ASEAN member states, there are MOUs which it is clear in the language of the MOU, it is the intention of the party, intention of the member state to create legally binding obligations. If both in the language, in the process. For example, if you look into the process, when a state signs a non-legally binding, I think the state will not go into a very lengthy process of seeking authorization, seeking full power, and seeking to complete internal process to ratify the agreements. So if you look into some MOU, which of course the intention is to create legally binding, then you see that the member state, even to negotiate, they have to authorize the person to negotiate, and even to sign the MOU, then the state have to also seek the full power for the person to sign the MOU. And then after signing of the MOU, then the state have to also go through the process of ratifications or acceptance of the obligation, which was signed by the person authorized by them. So that, in short, I just would like to clarify that we do not rely on the title or nomenclature of this instrument, but rather on the intention of the party and the language reflected in the instrument itself. And this is international practice of the treaty making process, and even in ASEAN as well, we have followed this practice. I hope I answer this question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Sam, for this answer. Ya, yang lain kalau mau bertanya dalam bahasa Indonesia juga boleh, nanti biar saya terjemahkan. Gak usah malu-malu. Ya, masih ada? Silakan langsung bicara di mikrofon ataupun di chat boleh. Iya, kalau tidak ada, kita sudah boleh persilakan Pak Sam mungkin untuk meninggalkan event ini. So Pak Sam, there is no more question. It seems like that. Do you have to leave the link now because you said you have another appointment?
Yeah, I can stay a little bit, but I will leave at 12.
Okay,
that's okay.
Okay, yeah. So the next turn will be given to Dr. Chan Viet Dung. So yeah, during his presentation, yeah, you can leave, and then now I have to say thank you very much for your willingness to explain about ASEAN and ASEAN communities in our class today. Yeah, have a nice day, and see you again shortly. Thank you, Pak Sam. Okay, just a moment, please. Yeah, okay. Our next speaker will be Dr. Chan Viet Dung, the Dean of International Law Faculty of the Ho Chi Minh Law University, Vietnam, who will speak about the ASEAN Economic Community. And then he will also serve you with questions and answers as well. I think I have already seen Dr. Chan here. Welcome, Dr. Chan.
Good evening.
Good morning. Yeah. Okay, I can hear you already.
Very very well. And I hope that you also can hear me well.
Yeah. Very clear. Yeah, and I also want to say that I think your name is getting more familiar here in our university, since you are quite active to participate in our various academic programs. And thank you also for your greetings for our faculty anniversary last month that you have presented in a very nice video. Okay, firstly, please allow me to read your CV. Just a brief CV. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Chan Viet Zu is an associate professor of law, as well as the Dean of International Law Faculty, Ho Chi Minh City University of Law, where he lectures the various subjects on international investment law, globalization and law, WTO law, ASEAN law, and international dispute settlement. He holds a PhD of law degree from National University of Singapore, or NUS. And in addition to that, he also followed the international studies in the People's Friendship University of Russia and International Trade Policy Program at Harvard Kennedy School of Economics, of course. Since 2016, Dr. Chan is a member of the governing board of the Development of International Law in Asia, or DILA. And currently he is also the deputy chief editor of the Vietnam Journal of Legal Science. Besides that, he is also holding several memberships, among others, in the Scientific Council of Ho Chi Minh City University of Law, in the Senior Editorial Council of Kutafin University Law Review. He is also a member of Senior Research Fellow at the Law Department of Tallinn University of Technology. In his academic career, he used to be an ASEAN scholar of the Asian Research Center of the NUS and a research scholar of the US-Vietnam Trade Council. Moreover, he has taught graduate courses at the Bristol Law School of the University of West England, Chonam National University Law School, Jean Moulin University Law School, Montesquieu University of Bordeaux, and Chulalongkorn University, and Dong A University. Dr. Chan combines his academic knowledge with practical experience as an international lawyer. He has practiced law services at the top tier law firms of Singapore for 6 years, and later with his own law firm in Ho Chi Minh City, and also undertaken many consultancies for multinational companies with respect to their foreign investment in Vietnam. He was a legal advisor to Information Technology Management Office of the Ho Chi Minh City government. He wrote and published many articles and books in the area of international trade, international competition, international arbitration, foreign investment, and environment. Dr. Chan, now the class is yours.
Thank you very much, Professor Muhammad Nofizal. First of all, I would like to express my thanks for your kind invitations to participate in this very interesting, insightful seminar about the ASEAN. And I would like to make a warm greeting from Vietnam to all students, to Mr. Un Sovanasan, who also did a very interesting and very useful presentations about the ASEAN legal framework and the institutions. And on my part, I will do my presentations on the focus of the ASEAN Economic Community, and I hope I will be able to provide some informations and as well as some analysis on the development and challenges that facing ASEAN in development of ASEAN Economic Community. Professor Nofizal, shall I use the share screen, or you help to move move the slides for me?
Okay, Mr. Banyu, can you operate the slide?
Yeah, we have the slide.
Okay.
All right, all right. Actually, I have made some minor changes to the slide, but I think it's very minor. I'll let you know. Yeah, I think in just because I made the two like some minor change, but it's okay. All right. So could you please move to the next one, please? Right. So I will make my presentation in 5 parts. Yeah, an overview of ASEAN, the ASEAN community and the ASEAN economic community, the structure of ASEAN economic community, and I will then define some benefits of the AEC and the challenges in developing the AEC in the future. Yeah. So this is the general content of my presentations. Next, please. Right, so I think this is just a very brief overview of ASEAN, and as you know, the ASEAN is comprising of 10 nations, and also the Southeast Asia and 2 observers. Yeah, and the development of ASEAN in the last 30-40 years is very stable, and now the ASEAN have moving from just an political organization into economical organizations, and moving forward, ASEAN is planning to establish an ASEAN community, which is to a certain extent can be comparable with the European community. Next, please. Okay, some facts about ASEAN. The ASEAN is actually is a very important regions in the world in terms of economy, because of its territory. It's about the territory of the whole ASEAN is around 4,500,000 kilometers square, and it is if in terms of region is 3rd biggest in terms of territory in the world. The population of ASEAN is around 660 million, which is also very big. It's bigger than the European Union. The total trade of ASEAN is around 2.5 thousand billion US dollars per year, and the internal ASEAN trade is around 600 billion. In terms of GDP, the ASEAN is GDP is around getting around 2.3 thousand to 3,000 billion US dollars, and the average GDP growth of ASEAN in the last 20 years is the 2nd fastest in the world after China. The average pace of development in the region is around 5.5%. So as you see, the ASEAN actually has a very high potential for economic development. Next, please. Yeah. So and then so when we're talking about the ASEAN integration in a new phase, we can see that the ASEAN have been agreed to establish a community. Yeah, the ASEAN community, which is the aiming to eliminate many of the barriers and consolidate the policy of the region, so that it can make the region become stronger and create more potential for development in the future. And in the framework for development of the ASEAN community, ASEAN leaders have agreed to establish 3 communities. The first one is the ASEAN Political Securities Community. This community is aiming to promote the stability and promote political security environment in the regions. As we all know, the actually the development is cannot be achieved if there is no stability. War, conflicts, all this kind of issue can prevent the development of the regions. And as we all know, between the ASEAN country, we also have certain conflicts, even armed conflicts. So the establishment of political security community is considered as very essential for the development of the regions in the long run. Yeah, so it is the aim of this EPSC. The second community that ASEAN have decided to develop is the social cultural community. This social cultural community is aiming to protect the aim to lift the quality of life of the people ASEAN through the cooperative activities that are people oriented, people centered, and environmentally friendly, and geared towards the promotion of sustainable development. And so in short, the social cultural community of ASEAN is aiming at three goals. First is to improve the protection of human rights, promote the development of social corporations, and protection of environment. Yeah, so there are the three main goals of this ASCC, and it is considered that the dynamic and harmonious community that's aware of the of the cultural and heritage will be essential for the development of the Southeast Asian in general. And the last community, which is also considered as the heart of the ASEAN integrations, is the ASEAN economic community, as because towards the current stage, the ASEAN is basically very much focused on the trade cooperation, yes, and therefore the AEC is also considered as the core for development of the ASEAN community. Next, please. In my presentations, I will. Could you please come back, please? Yes. No. Yeah. There is no. Next, please. Next, please. Yes. This is the goal of the ASEAN economic community, and it's the ASEAN leaders have decided to establish the ASEAN economic community with four important pillars, namely this establishment of Singapore a single market and production base. Second is to establish an competitive economic regions. Third is to establish an equitable economic development, and the last is to expand the global economy. Could you please back one slide, please? Yeah. So in order to achieve this, you can see that this is not something happened overnight. Actually, the ASEAN economic community is a process which ASEAN member states nurture for the almost 40 years. Yeah, since the declaration of Bangkok on establishment of ASEAN in 1967, until the establishment of the Treaty on Amity and Cooperation and in 1976, and the establishment of the ASEAN Free Trade Area after, yeah, in 1992. This is the first stage of the economic integration in ASEAN, whereby the country with the very much difference of economic political background have gathered together and promote the regional integration in from the economic perspective. So the AFTA was the first foundations for the deeper integration of the ASEAN economic integration. So in 2007, the ASEAN leaders have decided to push the integration in the deeper state of integration, namely the establishment of the ASEAN communities, and they have signed the ASEAN Charter in 2007, and which make it effective in 2008. And together with that, the ASEAN leaders have produced the ASEAN Blueprint, which is the guidelines for the roadmap for implementation of the ASEAN economic integrations. And as you all know, in the 2015, the AEC have officially launched the project of AEC has been officially launched in 2015 with based on the goal that set by the AEC Blueprint. Next, please. So if you look, yeah. So now, no, back, please. Mr. Rizky, can you? Yes. So if you look at this chart, you can see that as I mentioned previously, the AEC is based on 4 pillars, namely the development of single market production base, the development of competitive and economic regions, and the third pillar is to establish an equitable economic development, and the last one is to expand the cooperation with external partners, which is in other words is to promote the linkage with global economy. So for the first pillar, the ASEAN leaders consider the base for the establishment of single market is shall based on the promotion of liberalization of free trade in goods, yeah, free trade in services, free flow of investment of capital, and free flow of the skilled laborers, and also the promotion of the industry, which are considered as the advantage of Southeast Asia. Yeah, is namely the agricultural products, forestry, seafood, and food processing, tourism. Those area or the area that the ASEAN is focusing on in developing the single market. And for the development of competitive economic regions, they have highlight 5 elements, 5 components. The first is the promotion of competition, the competition policy for the regions, the development of consumer protection policy, increase the protection of intellectual property, standardize the taxation system, promoting the e-commerce, and infrastructure. In infrastructure here, we are not just talking about the development of infrastructure, but we also focus on development of the cooperation of energy and minerals development or cooperation. Yeah, so this will help to make the region become competitive in globally, and can strengthen the power of private sectors in the regions. And regarding the equitable economic development, the ASEAN leaders have decided to mobilize the power from various sectors, including both public and private. And the ASEAN country would pay special focus on development of the small and medium-sized enterprise, as the SME now is the backbone of the economy in most ASEAN countries. And the ASEAN also would encourage the initiative for further integration amongst ASEAN. Yeah, in step by step, as we recall, one of the very important principle for cooperation of ASEAN is the ASEAN ways. So ASEAN always respect the flexibility, and also respect the autonomy of in the interest of the member countries. And so the motto of the ASEAN integration is to integrate within the diversity. So the initiative for ASEAN integration is always encouraged within the AEC. And lastly, for the development of linkage with international, with extra partners, external partners is also considered as an important elements, on the important pillars of the AEC, because ASEAN will wish to be an important chain in the global manufacturing chain. So it aims to establish more economic tie with the external partners. Yeah, and we will discuss it a bit later, and on the development of this free trade agreement within ASEAN and external partners. So next, please. Yeah. So okay. In short, for ASEAN, yeah, in order to form a single market, yeah, of the IAC, there are 5 components that ASEAN is promoting. The first is the finance, yeah, the technology, and encourage the protection of environment, yeah. So and encourage the improve of the quality of the human resource, and then improve the conditions for movement of natural persons. And lastly is the establishment effective channel for sharing information. So this 5 component is considered as the core for the AC corporations. Next, please. Yeah, next, please. Right. So, all right. So for the single market and production base, the EC, you can see that the EC objective is to improve the business environment of within the Southeast Asia. So they have several objectives that the AEC needs to achieve. First is to increase the ASEAN attractiveness for investment, yeah, and which will help to create jobs and implement the technology advancement. Second is to promote the cross-trade and investments across the ASEAN, and leveraging on the strength, sharing resource, doing business among the ASEAN countries, and to provide the business opportunity, including for the SME, especially for SME. Yeah, so the ASEAN AEC will establish certain special condition for development of the SME, the wider market access through the free trade agreement, the FTAs. And the AEC will also focus on establishment of strong economic base that can be resilient and stable economy based on the legacy of and for the future generations. So that is the main objectives of the AEC single market. To achieve the above mentioned objectives, the ASEAN leaders have defined some key drivers, yeah, namely first to liberalize the import duties, the trade system between the ASEAN. Second is to remove the equity restrictions on service and investment in ASEAN. Third is to removal of other forms of impediments, such as limiting number of the service providers. Yeah, and fourth is to facilitate the intra-ASEAN trade and investment by removing the cumbersome procedure, rules, regulations, and lastly is to facilitate the mobility of skilled workers. And especially ASEAN in the last few years have been working hard to remove the barriers within the regions and facilitate the trade and economic activities within the regions. And it showed by the fact that the ASEAN country now allow the business in the ASEAN business, ASEAN's companies to operate in a competitive environment, and to allow the companies to get more benefits from the economy of scale. Yeah, so this is the policy that all ASEAN countries now trying to pursue since the establishment of the AEC. Next, please. So, as a lawyer, and to facilitate the above mentioned the objectives and desire, the ASEAN have developed a very comprehensive legal framework. Yeah, so basically, this framework is can be divided into in three areas. The first is trade in goods. Second is trade in service, and trade in investment. So for the trade in goods, the ASEAN have signed the so-called ASEAN Trade in Goods Agreement, ATIGA, and the agreement on the customs. Yeah, so this will facilitate the trade in goods among the ASEAN countries. The ATIGA also provide the schedule for cutting the tariff, as well as removing the non-tariff barriers, and to improve the custom procedures, yeah, so that the products between of ASEAN can be moved more easily. For the trade and service, and the legal framework is based on the ASEAN Framework Agreement on Trade and Service, AFAS. This and this agreement is actually based or can be compared with the WTO GATS agreement. However, in the AFAS, this agreement does not regulate the movement of the movement of natural persons. The movement of natural person is regulated separately by in ASEAN under the agreement on the movement of natural persons, as the ASEAN leaders consider that this issue is very sensitive and it must be regulated in a separate agreements. And alongside with the agreement on movement of natural person, the ASEAN also signed a very important agreement called the Mutual Recognition Agreement. And this agreement is to help the recognition of degree, the professional qualifications between ASEAN countries. So you can imagine that a doctor who has the degree in Indonesia can come to Vietnam to work, and the qualification will be recognized by Vietnamese authorities easily. Yeah, but of course this will now only at the moment the number of area that regulated under the MRA is still limited, but in the future that will be increased over the time. And the last, the investment agreement, the ASEAN have developed the so-called ASEAN Comprehensive Investment Agreement. This agreement actually was deemed to replace the previous investment agreement of ASEAN countries, the AIA and the ACA. This is considered as an international investment agreement that's to promote the investment conditions in the ASEAN and to attract the foreign investment into the ASEAN economic community. Next, please. All right, so I think that the area that we should emphasize in the development of the AEC is the service, because this is a sector that actually ASEAN country pay special attentions, and as you see in my slides, the AFAS have regulated the 11 sectors of service, and it provides very detailed conditions for liberalization of trade services, and at the level of liberalization of service is, if you compare to the WTO schedule, this one is much more detailed and provide a deeper level of integrations. For the in order to facilitate the movement of professional and talents among the ASEAN countries, the ASEAN member states have signed an MNP, and which provide the floor for business visitors, intercorporate transferee, and contractual service suppliers, with more easy access and with longer visa and status for them to conduct the business in ASEAN countries. For the mutual recognition arrangements, as I mentioned earlier, there are 7 sectors that already start implementing the MRA, namely the engineering service, nursing service, architecture, accountancy, medical practitioners, dental, and surveying. So this area are now are more or less regulated, and the degree and the qualification certificates of ASEAN country will be recognized in other ASEAN member states. Next, please. Right. So this is about the tariff, the trade in goods. Yeah. Basically in ASEAN the Artiga have been inherit the schedule set by the AFTA, the ASEAN Free Trade Area, and it continued to aim to remove the tariff and non-tariff barriers within the ASEAN. Yeah, next, please. Yeah, so for the investments, I would like to highlight some interesting point for the ACIA, the ASEAN Comprehensive Investment Agreement, have defined the sectors that enjoying the encourage for investments among the ASEAN. Yeah, so first is manufacturing of foods and textile, and in agriculture, the ASEAN country are encouraging the growing of cross animal farms. Fishery is also the same with the encouraged development of fishing, hatchery, fish farm. Forestry is to develop the sawmill, timber extraction. For the mining and acquiring the extraction of crude and petroleum and coal mining is very much encouraged. And the ASEAN, the AC also developed the service incidental to the main sectors, like the service for incidental to manufacturing, service incidental to agriculture, fishery, forestry, and mining and exploring of the national the oil and gas. So these sectors are encouraged for investments within the ASEAN. Next, please. So the ATIA also provide for protection for investment from being appropriated, and protection is according into the following. The first, the movement of the movement and movable and immovable property and property rights of investors. ASEAN investor is protected under ATIA. All the shares, stocks, bonds, debentures of the investors will be protected under this agreement. The intellectual property rights and will be also subject to protection under this agreement. The claim for money or any contractual performance related to the business is also protected. And most importantly, the business concession by the ASEAN member states to the ASEAN investors will be respected and must be conducted in light with the agreement. And the member state ASEAN shall respect the undertaking that it made under the ATIA, as well as the contract with the ASEAN investors. Next, please. So in order to improve the competitive economic regions, the intellectual property is considered one of the important key point. Yeah, all the ASEAN member states are encouraged to improve and strengthen the IPR regulations to meet the international standards, the international agreement. For the competition policy, this is something that ASEAN is aiming, but it have not achieved, is to establish the national competition law in the all ASEAN member states. Now only among 10 member states, only 6 have the competition law, yeah, and the other 4 don't have yet. And for the consumer protection, the AC also considers a very important point. The protection of the interests of consumers is considered as a key element for development of the business in ASEAN, and it will also encourage the integration with the world economy. So the IEC have developed the infrastructure for the consumer protection, such as the information center, information exchange mechanism, and the system for redress the consumer claims and settlement of disputes. And then and the taxation is also an important aspect that the ASEAN is focused, because the establishment of the network of bilateral agreement to address the issues of double taxations. Yeah, the ASEAN will sign the agreement to avoid the double taxations, and it is considered as an important element to improve the competitive economic region for the AEC. Next, please. Right. So regarding the integration into the world economy, as I mentioned, ASEAN would wish to be the one of the main elements, yeah, the components of the global manufacturing chain. So it have entered many FTAs with their trading partners, important trading partners. Yeah, ASEAN have 6 important trading partners, namely India, Australia, New Zealand, China, Korea, Japan, US, and EU. So to date, the ASEAN have signed the FTA with most of those countries, and most recently, yeah, in the 15th of November, the ASEAN have concluded the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, the RCEP. This is the very important free trade agreements between ASEAN and 5 the trading partners, excluding India. India didn't join this agreement, but this FTA is supposed to be the important vehicle for ASEAN to export the service and the goods. Yeah, and it is expected that this economic cooperation will make the region become the biggest economic power in the world. Yeah, because they will be also include China and Japan, the 2 very important trading power in the world. And next, please. Right. So this is a brief about the RCEP. This free FTA was signed, yeah, online because of the COVID-19. The leaders of ASEAN and other 5 partners couldn't meet each other live, and they have to sign the agreement online. This is actually, I think, one of the first FTA in the world that was executed online. And this agreement actually regulates many of the area, including the intellectual property, e-commerce, and the competitions, yeah, which is very important for the modern international trade system. Next, please. Right. So So now we'll come to an important point. What is the AC bring to ASEAN nations? What is the benefits of AC? So the regional integration has benefited ASEAN in many ways. The first is the expansion of the trade and investment, including the intra-ASEAN trade and investments. Second is through the AC and its regulations, the FDI flows into intra-ASEAN and out from the outside ASEAN into the region will be more sustainable. Yeah, the sustainable FDI flow into the region will also be accompanied with the transfer of technology, which is very important in the modern world. The development of AC will also promote the opportunity for jobs, yeah, and promote the economic growth in ASEAN. The economic development of the new member of ASEAN, of course, it will be achieved, and ASEAN, when formed as a regional group, will be well positioned in the center of global supply chain activities. And so it will, many of ASEAN member states will be able to attract the investments for manufacturing in and as you note, as with the shift of the global supply chain out of China, ASEAN is become a very important candidate to receive the investment from the investors from the US and the European Union. And this is and lastly, the develop a strong trade links with the major regional economy will open the new business opportunities for ASEAN business. Yeah, so this is a very important benefits that the AEC as an economic community will bring to the ASEAN members. Next, please. Alongside with the benefits, the ASEAN also face numbers of problems. Yeah, the challenge. I would highlight the several challenge for the ASEAN. The first is and very important is the shortage of skilled workforce. The inflow of FDI into the region cannot achieve the goal if the workforce in the region does not satisfy the qualifications. The FDI will push a lot of pressure on the country and region to to establish high qualified professionals, and well, the base for that in many countries or still in the shortage. This is a very big headache for the ASEAN country. Second, I think challenge for development of AEC is that ASEAN has been very cautious in adopting the EU style free trade movement of labors. You know, the ASEAN at this point of time, although the market has been opened for movement of goods and service, but movement of skilled labors is still not enjoying an open space as in European community. Probably the level of their development of the ASEAN country are too much different. So it will take maybe some more time to achieve this goal, and the ASEAN leaders also need to create reasonable and effective mechanism to control the movement of the skilled laborers. What ASEAN has done through the MRA is enable ASEAN to attract, to receive the professional talent and service providers to work in different member states in a regulated manner. However, the compliance with the domestic regulation is one of the main challenge in the mobility of skilled workforce and professional still. The ASEAN countries to apply different standards and requirements, so that would also prevent the achievement of the policy for the promotion of movement of natural persons. Right, the next please. Another challenge for the AEC is the strengthening developing the necessary infrastructure facilities to support the AEC. This involves both hard and soft infrastructure. Yeah, meaning not just building the physical connectivity between the countries, but also need to develop the information sharing centers, the standards, different technical standards, so that the goods can be connected and more easily. And the ports, the roads, railroads, and airports can have more close connections. The other challenge that ASEAN may face is the promotion of the public-private sector partnership, because this is something that ASEAN understand is necessary. However, how to achieve it, how to regulate is also a problem, because each country still try to favor their company. Yeah, so promoting the public-private sectors partnership within ASEAN, amongst ASEAN countries, is still a big problem. And lastly, the balancing the competing interests with international integration integration of with the FTA partners is also a problem, because ASEAN is not ASEAN countries not always have to focus on the trade among themselves, but they also have the maybe the trade with the other partners. Yeah, some country like Vietnam, we have around 18 FTAs, and with the the business in Vietnam have the opportunities to trade with many other partners, not just ASEAN partners. So it probably would prevent the consolidation of powers among the ASEAN business. So that are the, I think, the main challenge that I would highlight in the accessing the last 5 years of implementation of AAC. There are also, of course, many others challenges, but I think at this point of time, these are the most visible challenge that ASEAN have to overcome to promote the AAC. So next, please. And in the final notes, I think that AAC has created a very productive environment for the local ASEAN companies to increase the sales, the opening the operation outside the domestic market, and it creates a very important foundation for promoting the trade in the regions. And second, the fully cognizant of the impediments of optimal realizations and of the commitment of the AAC blueprints will help ASEAN to address the problem of the regions more effectively, and will create a chance for ASEAN to develop in the future. And lastly, I think this is very important. The ASEAN country promote with the promotion of the SME will, I think, will help to create more transparency and synergy for government policies across the regions, and this would help to promote the development in a sustainable way. Yeah, this is all of my presentation. Thank you very much, and I am happy to receive the question from you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Chan Viet Dung, for your very comprehensive explanation about ASEAN Economic Community. And now we welcome for questions from the participants and students of this webinar. Is there any question? You can raise questions in English or in Bahasa Indonesia. Direct question? No direct question? Okay, if there's no direct question, I will try to read a question who sent it to, which has been sent it to me directly. I'm curious about the integration of Vietnam into ASEAN. As we know, compared to the first 5 ASEAN countries, Vietnam is one of the latecomers in joining the ASEAN. But apparently, Vietnam has become the most competitive market in ASEAN now. From legal perspective, what are the steps taken by Vietnam to make significant economic development prior or post joining ASEAN? Is there any factor that is moved by legal reform in Vietnam? Yeah, maybe you can answer.
Oh, thank you for very interesting questions. I think, you know, actually we also face many problems in the liberalizations, and actually many people's, I mean, you know, always for any economies, there are always 2 opinions. One is to protect the domestic industry, the protectionism, and other is to liberalize, push for liberalization. So I think Vietnam in the last 20 years is very consistently pursue the liberalizations. We have signed many trade agreements with the partners, and we consistently doing the reforms for the legal reforms and to improve the legal framework for investments. And we try to the Vietnamese government try to pursue to observe all the international commitments in terms of liberalization and protection of investment. So that helped Vietnam to create a very favorable conditions for investors. And that helped to attract the more investment in the country. And I think another elements that help Vietnam to integrate more or less efficiently is that the Vietnamese, we have a lot of small and medium-sized enterprise. And actually the SME in Vietnam are very active and effective in a sense. They actually don't receive much of the support from the government, but they only need the policy, yeah, and then they can develop their business. So the cooperation between the SME and the foreign investors, and I think is the driven force for Vietnam to create the competitive market and can integrate deeply into the regional and the world economy. I hope that answers your question.
Okay. The next question from Ibu Anugrah again. Yeah, or Bapak, Ibu, I think. Yeah, Ms. Anugrah Adiastusti.
Yeah.
You can raise your question directly.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Nofrizal. I would like to ask two questions to Professor Tran Viet Tung. In your PowerPoint slides, you mentioned about the MRAs. And if I'm not mistaken, we don't have yet any MRAs on legal professionalism. So my questions are, in your point of view, what is the main barrier or constraints that the condition now in Asia, we don't have yet any MRAs on legal professionalisms? The first question. The second one, if you may suggest solutions, what would be the best solutions, or what kind of approach that ASEAN can do in providing or regulating the MRAs for legal professionalism? Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Yeah. Thank you. I think this question I also always ask myself. Why the ASEAN cannot agree on the MRA? But I think the legal profession actually is very I think the area that all the country want to protect. A legal profession is a bit different from other profession in the sense that it it can be educated, yeah, by the country. Every country would have their own legal system, and the professionals trained by that within that system can work and can provide the service, yeah, effectively. So I think many countries don't want to open the market in that area. They want to reserve for their own peoples. I think, for example, in Vietnam, for instance, we don't have much problem with opening up for the legal market. We have actually opened we are quite open to foreign law firms compared to Indonesia. Yeah, the foreign law firm now can open the office in Vietnam, can advise Vietnamese law. They only cannot do the criminal case or cannot present client at the court. other activity they already allowed. But in Indonesia, as far as I know, the government of Indonesia want to protect the Indonesian law firms, the Indonesian professionals by not allowing the foreign law firm to open and operate in your country. And we also can see the same in Singapore, Malaysia. Mm-hmm. So I think that is the particularity of the professions would prevent the government of ASEAN to negotiate on the MRA. And I hope that in the future, when the quality of the lawyers or standards of legal education or can be leveled, the MRA will be on the legal profession will can be expected. And for the, you mentioned, can you repeat the second question, please?
In your opinion, what would be the best or what kind of approach that can ASEAN do in providing or at least preparing the MRA for legal professionals for the current time?
Yeah, I think that one of the very important point that maybe ASEAN need to do is maybe they have to come up with the standards, the legal education standards, so that the qualification of the professional in ASEAN or more or less similar. Yeah, so because I think the requirement for qualification, legal qualification in different country are still very much different. So I think that they need to sit down and slowly build the standards for legal education, so that the professionals will have compatible skills and knowledge on yeah. This is
okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it's already 8 minutes to 1 o'clock, so I think we already have passed the time. Yeah, the maximum time for our class. Usually we finish at 12:40. Is there any more question? Or if there is no more question, I think we can the whole. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I haven't turned on my camera. Okay, now if there is no more question, I think we can conclude our class today, and then we want to say thank you very much, and we want to pay our gratitude and very high appreciation to our speakers, yeah, especially now Mr. Dr. Chan Viet Dung is still with us. Yeah, thank you very much for valuable lecture today for our students in Indonesia. Yeah? At the beginning, I already mentioned that the participants of this class is not only from the University of Indonesia, but from our own university, but it's also for open for all law students in the whole country. So at the beginning, we still had, I think, 90-something participants to joining this class. Okay, thank you also for all the students and participants for today's event. And Mr. Banyu, I think we can complete our session today. Once again, Dr. Chan Viet Dung, thank you very much, and then see you again so soon. And
thank you. Thank you very much, and wish you all good health, and and especially for the coronavirus will be ended soon. Yeah, hope that everything will be in the right track very soon.
Yeah. Also, all the best for Vietnam.